I don't know if this looks good, but we're just gonna roll with it. Hi everybody, my name's Emma. Welcome to my channel. Yeah, my name's Emma and I love to read, obviously. I started a book Instagram in May of 2022 and because I just like really wanted to talk about books with people. Because I just felt like not a lot of my friends like to read, and I was like, I need somewhere to talk about these books because, oh my god. And then I started watching people on BookTube, like Sarah Caroli, Destiny So Well. I was like, I just like want to be able to talk about a book, like talk about it, you know? So I thought the best video to start with for this channel would be all of the books that I read in 2022. This is my bookshelf. There's more on a different shelf in my room, but I'm only gonna like physically show you some of them just because I read 72 books. And I did already try to film this video and then my camera died and I don't really want to pull all 72 books off the shelf again. So I'm gonna like have a little picture, give a little what I rated them. Yeah, so I'll show you the picture, tell you what I rated them, and maybe like a little mini whatever, but I'm gonna physically show you my top 10. Yeah, so let's get started. In 2022, I actually didn't read any books in January. I think I was kind of burnt out from December of 2021 because I kind of like sped read a lot of books at the end to like meet my goal, which was 35. And I met the goal, but then all of January I just was like not in the mood to read anything. So really this was books I read from February to December of 2022. I started with the Shatter Me series. Oh my god. I love this series so much. If you're even considering reading the series, like, highly recommend. I was like on and off. So I read Shatter Me, and then the only novella that I read was Destroy Me, which comes between Shatter Me and Unravel Me, which is the second book. And I think there's like one or two other ones that come in between there, but I asked my friend who read the series which novellas like I should read if I needed to read them, and she said only Destroy Me, which is from Warner's perspective. And I'm actually really glad I read that one because it made the second one like so much more enjoyable. But she was like, but don't really bother with the other ones. So I didn't. So I only read Destroy Me, but I read Shatter Me, Destroy Me, and Unravel Me. Phenomenal. Amazing. I think the lowest rating on each of those books was 4 stars. They were either 4 or they were 5. You know? And the whole series overall I gave, I think, either 4.5 or 5 stars. Because I think about this series like every single day and I miss these characters and I want to reread the series. So if you're thinking about a YA fantasy dystopian series, yes, you heard it here first. Probably not first. You heard it here. Read this series. So in between, I kind of broke the series up. So after I finished Unravel Me, I read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry. She's one of my favorite authors of all time. I read Beach Read in 2021. Phenomenal. People We Meet on Vacation was obviously my second one because Book Lovers came out in May. I gave that one 4 stars or maybe 4.5 stars, but I didn't give it 5 stars because of like, I don't remember what my reason was. Why did I give it 4 stars? Oh, I felt like there was like a part at the end that I was like, that annoyed me. So I didn't give it 5 stars. But I love that book so much. So good. So good. Honestly, anyone who's trying to get into reading, I will usually recommend Emily Henry books first. Like, my best friend is reading my copy of Beach Read right now. So, everyone should read Emily Henry books. I love them. And I love her writing. And then I read Ignite Me, which is the 3rd book in the Shatter Me series. Probably my favorite one in the series. That one and the second one, I think, but Ignite Me is probably my favorite one. So good. And then I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, and that was my second Colleen Hoover book. I read Edentulous in 2021. I enjoyed Verity while reading it. It's probably at this point in time, the only Colleen Hoover book I'd recommend to somebody. And I've only read 3 Colleen Hoover books, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I think about the ending a lot, but 4 stars. And then I read Restore Me, which is the 4th Shatter Me book, and then Define Me, which is the 5th Shatter Me book. Again, phenomenal, amazing, beautiful, awesome. You should read it. And then I read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, which I gave, it says 3 stars on Goodreads, but I'm pretty sure I gave it 3.5 stars on my book Instagram. I have lots of thoughts and feelings on this book. So especially like everything that came out about the author afterwards, made the ending like not really sit right with me. And I was just like annoyed a little bit about like how it played out and ultimately played out. You know, but it was still good, still a good mystery. But I would recommend other books first. You know? And then I finished, well, I didn't really finish, well, the final like book that's not a novella, because I did read the last like novella of Shatter Me, but I didn't read it till much later, so I'll talk about that later. But then I read the last book of the Shatter Me series, which is Imagine Me. Again, I will say it forever. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Tahereh Mafi, I love you. Thank you. And then I read my first Sally Rooney book, Conversations with Friends. That was almost in my top 10 of the year and it didn't make it, by barely didn't make it. Phenomenal. Wow. I related to like Frances in different parts of the book, and then just the writing was so good. You have to really look past the like quotations missing, but once you do, it's so good. And Sally Rooney's writing is phenomenal. It's very, very character driven, so if you don't like a character driven book, you probably wouldn't like Sally Rooney's books, but I love a character driven book. So, yes, absolutely. 5 stars, if that wasn't clear. Then I read Normal People because I was in my Sally Rooney era. I gave Normal People 4.5 stars, but honestly, I think about Normal People more than I think about Conversations with Friends, and I would probably say I like Conversations with Friends more than I like Normal People, but they're like really neck and neck. They're good. Really good. I love a character-driven book, and I'll say it. And I've always said that. Okay, anyway. So Shatter Me, like, series I had as, like, in my top 10, but I, like, just had Shatter Me representing the whole series, because I just couldn't pick one of the series. And that was my, like, 5th book on my top 10 of books of the year. Shatter Me series was on number 5. Wow, is that so hard to say? But this next book was my number 2 book of the year, and that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Oh my god. I think I devoured this very, very quickly. I went and got it the day it came out. I was like, hello, I love you, Charlie, I love you, Nora. Yes, absolutely. This is my favorite Emily Henry book, and so I'm really, really excited for Happy Place, but obviously 5 stars. Yes, but every time I recommend Emily Henry, I just have to recommend all 3. Like, I'm like, you have to read Beach Read, and then People Meet on Vacation, and then Book Lovers. Because I'm pretty sure they're in the same universe, even though they're not connected. You don't have to do that at all. But I think you should. So, yeah, 5 stars. And then I read The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han, which I was meaning to because I knew there was a TV show coming out. And then Taylor Swift had a song that came out for it, and I was like, well, re-released a song for it. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll read it. Super cute. I think every single book in that series I gave 4 stars, and overall 4 stars. It's YA, it's cute, but the first book I think I liked the best. And the show is one of the best TV or book to TV adaptations I've ever seen. Very good. And then I continued reading the Cruel Prince trilogy. I read the first book in 2021 and then just like never got around to reading the rest of them. So I finished The Wicked King and then The Queen of Nothing. I don't know why I waited because oh my god, love it. I just picked up The Stolen Heir because that's like the spin-off series. I think I gave them both 5 stars. Wicked King, 5 stars. Queen of Nothing, 5 stars. So the whole series, 5 stars. So I'm really excited to read The Stolen Heir. It's about a character who's in the series, I think. I tried to read as little as I could about it. At first I wasn't interested, and then I saw someone on TikTok who said they didn't even like the Cruel Prince trilogy that much, and they loved The Stolen Heir, and I was like, okay, cool, say less, I'll get it. So I did. Next is the book that was number 10 in my top 10, which The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors ever. Daisy Jones and the Six was my last book I read of 2021. And then I've read a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid this year. But this was probably number 10, but this isn't my top Taylor Jenkins Reid, which we'll find out later. But, oh wow. Oh wow, 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 wow. And yeah, 5 stars. Absolutely, yes, 100%. If you're even like thinking about this book, everyone talks about this book, and for a very good reason. Highly recommend, and I'm nervous for the Netflix adaptation. I think Netflix is doing it. I'm nervous. I'm scared. It needs to be a TV show, but I think they're doing a movie, so I'm nervous. 5 stars. And then I read I'm just gonna say these at the same time. They're like a little duology that I found on TikTok because the dedication had something to do with Marvel. And they're the Shattered Isle duology, or maybe it's a series, I don't know. But I just read the first two, and they're called Her Villains and Her Revenge. I think I gave them both 3 stars. They were good, but yeah. They're good, they're spicy, so be like, I probably wouldn't recommend them first of spicy books, you know? It was fine. Then I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, which when I first read it, I was like, oh my god, loved it, because I read it in 2 hours. But I don't really think about it that often, and when I do think about it, I'm like, actually, that was like, kind of mid, so I don't really like it that much. I have it as 3 stars on Goodreads. There's just other books I would recommend sooner. And then I read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was almost in my top 10. And I actually don't even have my edition with me because my mom is borrowing it, because I was like, this is so good. My mom's already read Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo, and I was like, next is Malibu Rising, and next is Carrie Soto, but she has to be Malibu Rising first. So yeah, I think I gave it 5 stars. I did. Malibu, anything Taylor Jenkins Reid, I think I've given every Taylor Jenkins Reid book I've read 5 stars. She writes character-driven books mainly. I feel like at least to me, they're character-driven, but maybe not. So good. Truly so good. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I love you. Thank you. Then I read Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. That's the one that was like inspired by a Chris Evans interview. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. I liked it. I was like kicking my feet and curling my toes. I was like, oh my god. Got me giggling. Cute. Really cute. The cover, so pretty. So I'm excited for her next one that's coming out this year. I don't remember what it's called, but I remember the cover was pretty. So I was like, sure. And then I read the second Summer I Turned Pretty book by Jenny Han. It's Not Summer Without You. 4 stars again. Good, cute. Started off really sad. And this is where everyone starts to like Jeremiah, but I was Team Conrad the whole time. So I just want to put that out there. Then I read probably my most disappointing book or maybe almost my most disappointing book of the year, which I'm just going to show you. So I have it right here. Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard, who wrote the Red Queen series. I was really excited for this one. I saw the cover is beautiful. It had this cute little like artwork on the paperback inside, and I was like, oh my god, cute. It was just like, if you like things like Lord of the Rings or like The Witcher, I think you'd probably like that more than I liked it. It was just really slow, and there was a lot of different POVs, and to the point where like I started a new chapter and it was a different character's POV, and I was like, who is that? Have I met this person? I don't know who that is. And we were like halfway through the book. A lot of really heavy world building, which I get it, it's the first book of the series, but it was fine, you know? It was fine. Then I read the 9th book on my top 10 list, Bunny by Mona Awad. Oh my god. I think about this book probably every day. This like was just a total mindfuck. Like I had no idea what was going on. I feel like this is like Heathers meets Jennifer's Body meets Mean Girls, which I've seen other people describe it similar to that, but like those are the 3 that I was like, yeah. But like, oh, I just like don't know how to explain this without spoiling it. I loved it. Like at the end I literally was like, did I understand that correctly, and had to Google it, which I liked doing that. I know a lot of people don't want to have it up in the air like that, but I liked it, and I half the time was like, what the fuck is going on? So definitely recommend. Then I read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. I did. Gave it 5 stars. Very close to coming into my top 10. I don't have my copy. I have the collector's edition on a different shelf, but my friend is borrowing it right now. I'm excited for the movie, but I'm a little nervous because of who they cast. Like I'm like, we'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I'm excited. I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really sweet, and I read it, I think, in like 2 days. I like that one a lot. And then I listened to 2 audiobooks. This was in the month of June, and I listened to like, or actually 3, I think 3 audiobooks. And they were all the first 3 Percy Jackson books, which I already read, but I was just listening to them in my car, and everything Percy Jackson, 5 stars all the time. Then I read my first Tessa Bailey, which was It Happened One Summer. Phenomenal. I think I gave it 4.5 or 5 stars maybe. I love that book. And that duology. Yeah, absolutely. She has another duology coming out this year. The first one's in February. I can't remember when the second one comes out. And then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight from the ACOTAR series. I love that series. Sarah J. Maas, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm actually currently reading the first Crescent City book, and I'm planning on doing a reading vlog for the second Crescent City book, so stay tuned, because I've heard the ending of that book is just like super crazy, so I'm excited. I actually gave Frost and Starlight, I think, 3 stars. Let's check. I did. And at first I like was like, do I have to read this one? And I'm really glad that I did because it like put a lot of perspective into the last one. Like I was able to go into the last one like, okay, like first I hated Nesta. By the time I finished Silver Flames, Nesta is my favorite ACOTAR character. So yeah. And then I finished Summer I Turned Pretty series. I don't know why I spaced them out like I did, and I gave it 4 stars. We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. I was really close to giving that one 3 stars. I hated the plot of the last one. I was so mad. I'm glad I liked how it ended, but I was just everything felt so out of character and I was so annoyed. And I just felt like there could have been a better route. So I'm hoping they changed that plotline for the TV show because it was really annoying. And then I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I think I gave 4 stars. I enjoyed it, but again, I think my thoughts were best written out on my book Instagram, so definitely if you want more details on that one, go there. It was like a hard one to read because I felt like it was just like really intense. I don't know. It was good though. I liked it, but I like other ones more, you know? And then I finished for now, ACOTAR. I read A Court of Silver Flames, 5 stars. Oh wait. This was on my top 10 list. This was number 4 on my top 10 list. Nesta is my favorite ACOTAR character now. I hated her in the first 3 books. Love her now. I found myself relating to her in so many ways. It was actually insane. Honestly, I love ACOTAR so much. Anything fantasy, I would recommend the ACOTAR series. So good. So good. So good. And I miss these characters. I'm actually wanting to reread. Oh, okay. Let me drop the book. I want to reread this series this year because I missed that. My roommate is reading ACOTAR right now and she keeps talking to me about it. I'm like, I miss those characters! So, I'm going to reread them, I think. Okay. After Silver Flames, I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is like a short stories book. But there's 4 chapters and each one takes place like in the same setting. I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it, but I gave it 5 stars. It was almost in my top 10. There's 2 more that I just got, but it kind of has like a time travel aspect to it, so if you're into that, if you like The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which is one of my favorite books, you would definitely like this. And then I read I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. My friend Morgan recommended it to me. Loved it. Phenomenal, amazing. I love Casey McQuiston's writing. So good. Then I finished the It Happened One Summer series, or duology, by Tessa Bailey called Hook, Line, and Sinker. I think I liked Hook, Line, and Sinker more than It Happened One Summer. Hot take maybe? I don't know. But I love Friends to Lovers. And I really, just those characters, I love it. So good. Tessa Bailey knows what she's doing. Then I read The Summer of Broken Rules because somebody told me it was Taylor Swift coded. And it is. I am the biggest Swiftie ever, I think. And there's literally a plot line that's like inspired by a Taylor Swift song. It's cute. I really liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, maybe 5 stars, but I really, really liked it and I'm really excited for her second one. It's not a series, but I think that was her debut book. But there's another one coming out. I don't think they're connected. Maybe they are, but they're not like a series connected kind of thing. And then I read my favorite book of the year, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Look at how I annotated this book so much. I think about this book every day, I think. Elliot is one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. Love. Love, love, love. Phenomenal, amazing. Absolutely, yes. I like literally think about this all the time. I want to reread it. 5 stars, amazing. My favorite book of 2022, one of my favorite books ever. If you haven't read this book, what are you doing? Read it. Then I read A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which I found from an end shelf in Barnes & Noble that was like a time travel book. It's more like a jumping between dimensions, like alternate dimensions book. And I really, really liked it. It definitely had more of a romance plotline than it did like the scientific dimensions part, so know that going into it because I didn't. Which I wasn't mad about, but I wanted more of the dimensions. But it's a series, so I'm excited to see the rest of that. I just haven't bought them yet. But I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And then I read Addicted to You, which was the first Addicted book. I read that one on my Kindle. Really good. I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. And I just know the rest. I've heard the rest of the series is like phenomenal and everyone loves it. So I'm excited to read them. I'm like on and off reading the second one on my Kindle. I just haven't been motivated, but I know the rest of them are really good, so I need to just push through and read it. So definitely this year I plan on reading that series. And then I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Again, I read that really quickly. I really liked it. Probably 4 stars, I think. There was something. Oh, it's Fake Dating. That's right. I just don't think about it as much as other books. Pretty good, but I liked Love in Other Words more. Then I read My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, which was a really short one, so, I mean, if you know a short book by Tessa Bailey, you know. It was good. I think I gave it 4 stars. 4 stars. Probably won't reread it, but it's good. Then I read the first Twisted book by Anna Huang called Twisted Love. One of my favorite series. Anna Huang is one of my favorite authors now. Each book I finished it and I was like, no, this is my favorite Twisted book. No, this is my favorite Twisted book. I will tell you which one was my favorite, don't worry. It wasn't Twisted Love, but each one was 5 stars. The whole series is 5 stars. I love interconnected books. Like, characters that you meet in another book and then like the next one's about them. Oh, I eat that right up. So good. You'll soon see. After that, I read The Night Shift, which is probably one of my most disappointing reads of this year, if not my most disappointing read. I got it the same day I got 1,000 Pieces of You. It was on the end shelf about like time travel-esque books, and it was like not really time travel. You were like able to like jump between how do I explain this? It was in New York City, and it only works at night, so like the night shift. And you could take a door to get to another spot in the city, like, really quickly, but it was, like, messing up other stuff or whatever. It was just, like, such a letdown. Like, it felt like this huge build-up to, like, a lame ending. You know what I mean? Like, there was, like, all this stuff, and I was like, but, like, what? Like, what happened? Like, a bit of a plot hole at the end. I was just really let down. I gave it 3 stars, and I actually ended up selling it to Half Price Books, like, the next week. Like, I just, like, didn't really care about it and wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Then I read Twisted Games, 5 stars, again, but not my favorite Twisted book. Again, all of them are very close to each other, but oh wow, so good. Phenomenal, amazing. And then I read The Fine Print. This was my first Lauren Asher book. It was the Dreamland Billionaire series. The 3rd one comes out at the end of this month. Wow, again, I love interconnected books, and I thought it was really fun, and yeah, 5 stars. And the second one also got 5 stars, which I'll get to in a second. Then I read Twisted Hate. This was the one that almost didn't get 5 stars in the Twisted series. I'm choking. This one almost didn't get 5 stars. I think it was 4.5, because there was like one part at the end that I was like, really annoyed me, and I think if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But I still gave it 5 stars because I love the characters and I love the series. 5 stars. I feel like there are times, like, I'll finish a book and I'm like, 5 stars. Phenomenal. Amazing. Beautiful. And then I, like, sit with it for, like, a week and I'm like, that wasn't 5 stars, Emma. Be real. BFFR. That was not 5 stars. And then I have to go back and change my rating. But those ones are 5 stars. I think about them all the time. Then I read Terms and Conditions, which is the second Dreamland Billionaires book by Lauren Asher. Again, great. I liked it more than the first one. So I just feel like the 3rd one that comes out this month, I'm going to like the most because I'm just like the build up to this character I'm excited about. So yeah, all of them, each one's about a different brother. And they all, like, are billionaires. But yeah, I'm really bad at explaining it when I don't have the book in front of me. So sorry. Usually I'm better at this. I don't know why I'm saying usually I'm better at this. This is my first video. Then my second favorite book of the year and my favorite Twisted book is Twisted Lies. Christian Harper, I love you. But I found myself relating to Stella so much in this book where I was like, is this play about us? Like, what is going on? Obviously I'm not a celebrity social media person, but her, like, mental health stuff, like, she talked about in the book, I found myself relating so much, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, really good. I really liked it, and I'm excited to reread this series because I loved it. My favorite. This one's my favorite, for sure. And I know, like, I just kept reading them, and I was like, no, this one, no, this one, no, this one. But this one is actually my favorite. I think about it the most, and I just related to Stella, like, the most out of all 4 of the girls. So, yeah. Anna Huang, thank you so much. Then I read Every Summer After, which I liked. I think I gave it 4 stars, almost 3.5, just because it felt so similar to Love in Other Words. Like, same, but I mean, the formula works. Like, then and now chapters, it works. I eat that up every single time. I just felt like it was just so weirdly similar, and I was like, okay. And I think the characters, like, didn't speak for like 12 years, and I was like, that's unrealistic, unless I'm thinking about a different book. Wait. Maybe I'm lying to everyone I know. I think I'm thinking of a different book. There was a book where someone didn't someone didn't talk for 12 years, and I was like, yeah, I think it was this one. You know what, I could just tell you yeah, summer 12 years ago. Yeah, they didn't speak for 12 years, and then, like, I was like, this is stupid. Why would they not have spoken for 12 years? That was my biggest, like, I just couldn't. I was like, how their relationship was explained. I was like, you're telling me they didn't speak for 12 years? Absolutely not. I don't believe you. So, No, I didn't like that. But I did enjoy the book. It was good. Again, the formula works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is that the saying? And then I reread The Inheritance Games and The Hawthorne Legacy because The Final Gambit came out in August. I love a whodunit. My favorite movies are the Knives Out movies. So these are all 5 stars. Final Gambit almost made it into my top 10. Like very, very, very close. Really good. All chapters are really short, so really easy to read. It's YA. Highly recommend. And then I read A Letdown for Everyone this year, Light Lark. I'll show you. So I was really excited about this when I saw a TikTok. It was so hyped up before it even came out. I literally ordered a signed copy. I gave this book 2 stars. I think you've probably seen all of the reviews for it, but the writing isn't great, but it's a debut book, so like try to look past it. But there's so many plot holes, and like really, really predictable. Like I annotated this book and I was like, well, I'm not selling it, it's got my name in it. So I annotated it and wrote in it, and I predicted really, like as soon as one of the characters was introduced or like explained who they were to the main character, I was like, oh, this is what's happening here. There was a couple plot twists I didn't see coming, but like it was still like the ending felt like kind of a letdown. I would sooner recommend Realm Breaker, to be honest. So then I read Carrie Soto Is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, one of my favorite authors ever, and I loved it so much. I don't even know really anything about tennis. Well, it didn't. And then I read it and I was like, I knew what it meant, you know? The writing is really, really great, and anything Taylor Jenkins Reid does, I'm gonna eat right up. So good. Highly recommend. 5 stars. Almost made it into my top 10. Again, very close. Then I read The Love Hypothesis, which I read in one day. Like I sat down on my couch, I picked it up, and I read it in a day. 4 stars. I thought it was great. It's a good little romance. I mean, there's other one romance I'd recommend sooner, but I liked it a lot. I had the second one, and I just haven't read it yet. Yeah, 4 stars. Then I read a short story book, Someone Who Will Love You in All of Your Damaged Glory. I gave 5 stars to. Some of the short stories were so weird. Like, they were so weird, and I was like, what am I reading? It's written by the guy who wrote BoJack Horseman, I believe. But there were some in there that I was reading, and I was like, oh my god, so good. I annotated that one, I think. But yeah, if you're looking for short stories, that's a good one. Then I read Believe Me, which was the novella that ended the Shatter Me series. It was cute. I liked it. I think I gave it 3.5 or 4 stars. I liked it. It was cute. It was like a nice little window into whatever was doing at the end of the 6th book kind of thing. And the cover is beautiful. That is a really pretty cover. Then I read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this was my first one that wasn't like in the Mick Riva universe. And I loved it. So good. I was truly like, what's the correct decision? Like, I didn't know. It worked out the way that I like had to feel. Like, once I got to the end, I was like, that's the only way this could have ended. But like, you know, it's so good, and I really, really, really recommend. Taylor Jenkins Reid writes phenomenal character-driven books, and I will say that till the day I die. So good. And then I read Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and when I thought it couldn't get any better, it did. I loved Maybe in Another Life. This was actually in my top 10. This was number 8 in my top 10. The last 2 okay. This one has 2 alternating timelines happening. So it has like up to this one point where she went out with her friend, and there's 2 different plot lines. So she either goes home when her friend leaves, or she stays at the bar with like a guy that she met when she used to live there in high school. And there's 2 different storylines going on at the same time. And there's like one that I definitely was leaning towards more the whole time. But then like the last chapter of each storyline was truly some of the best writing I've ever seen. Like, I was reading it, jaw dropped, like, oh my god. Like, Taylor Jenkins Reid, I love you so much. Like, truly, this is like one of my favorite books. This is my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Wow. Actually, phenomenal. And then I read another book in my top 10. This was number 7 in my top 10, and this is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This is the first one in the Kings of Sin series. That 2 of them are coming out this year. First one I think is in April. This is so good. These characters are introduced in the Twisted series, and there are scenes that like overlap in Twisted Lies that like you see a different perspective of, and that was some great writing. And I love these characters. I just really, really enjoy Anna Huang's writing. Dual POV, phenomenal, amazing, 5 stars. Really, really excited for the rest of the series because again, they're like characters that overlap and they each get their own book. Oh, I eat it up every single time. So good. Amazing. Keep doing it. Keep them up. Keep them coming, Anna Huang. I will read it. I will read it. And after King of Wrath, I read Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I wasn't really gonna read, and then I think it was around Halloween that I read it, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this one. And it started off really slow, and I had to really push myself through it, but I had a friend on my book Instagram that was like, loves this series, and I was like, please convince me to keep going. And she sent me all of her annotations and was like, here, read this and then go read that book. And I was like, sold, done. I did predict the ending, and it was annoying because the main girl did not pick it up, and I was like, I realized as soon as this one massive hint was given, I was like, oh, this is who it is. Really good. I did enjoy it. The reveal of it at the end was really good. And I wasn't planning on reading the rest of the series, but I really liked her love interest, their dynamic. So I kind of want to read the next one. I do have it. I got it at Half Price Books. So I might be reading that one this year. Then I read Hooked, which is a Never After dark romance by Emily McIntyre. I gave 4 stars too. It's like a Wendy and Hook retelling. I actually think I gave it 4.5 stars. And she's got a whole bunch of other ones. The next one's Lion King, I think. You know, they're a dark romance, so I'm excited to read the rest of those this year. And then I read Happenstance by Tessa Bailey, which I gave 4 stars, which is just another short Tessa Bailey book, so if you know, you know. It was good. Probably won't read it again, but it was good. I liked it. And then I read the last one that's on my top 10 list. It was number 6 on my top 10 list. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This series is going to be different people in the friend group. I don't know if there's going to be more than 2, but for sure there's a second one. She doesn't announce when, so keep it coming, please, because I will be first in line. Highly recommend. 5 stars. Amazing. This is some the best communication skills I've seen between 2 main characters ever. It was very refreshing. It made their fights so much more believable and easier to read. So I definitely recommend this series. Then I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, which was my first nonfiction book that I read that wasn't assigned to me from school. And this is probably a life-changing book. I gave it 5 stars. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I loved the setup of the chapters. I liked that it was told in a non-chronological timeline. But I really, really enjoyed Dolly Alderton's writing, and I'm excited to read other stuff by her. And then I read my first Agatha Christie book, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. Like I said earlier, I love a whodunit, and I was like, well, let's go to the OG whodunit and read Agatha Christie. I liked it a lot. The main guy, the detective, reminded me a lot of Benoit Blanc from Knives Out, so I wonder if Daniel Craig read some Agatha Christie to get into the role. But I really didn't predict the ending until right before it was unraveled, so I'll probably read other ones in her Hercule Poirot section, because they're pretty short, and I got through it pretty quickly, and it had little graphics inside that help you follow the story along, so I really liked that. And then I read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This was a really highly anticipated book for me, and I really, really, really liked it. I think I gave it 5 stars. I think about it a lot. The writing was so beautiful. I really enjoyed her writing, so I want to read that with 6. I haven't read that one yet, so I need to read that because I just want to read more from her. So definitely recommend it. If you like Sally Rooney, you'll probably like Alone with You in the Ether. That's just what that's the vibes that it kind of gave me. And then the last 3 books I read of the year were all holiday books. So first I read Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. Again, short Tessa Bailey book, so it is what it is. I think I gave it 4 stars. 4 stars. It was good. Enjoyable. Then I read The Holiday Switch by Tiff Marcello, which I only read because Sarah Caroli read it in a video, and she really liked it, and it was really cute. A little YA book. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. It was really cute, and I feel like it'd be a really good rom-com movie. But I liked it a lot, so definitely recommend that for a holiday book this year if you're looking for one, which I don't know why, it's January. So maybe in December if you want one. The Holiday Switch, it's super cute. And then In a Holidays by Christina Lauren was the last one I read of 2022, and one of my biggest letdowns. I was so let down by the ending of it, and I was also rooting for someone else the entire time. I was rooting for her to get with somebody else, and then so it's kind of like a Groundhog Day situation, and I just felt like her Groundhog situation wasn't really explained. Then the epilogue felt really fast-paced, and I was like, what? It was fine. You know, I won't reread it. I'll probably end up getting rid of it. But yeah, it was just kind of sucked that was the last book that I read of the year, and I was kind of a letdown, but it is what it is. And there are obviously other Christina Lauren books that I like more. clearly. So, I mean, it was enjoyable. I enjoyed reading it. It was a letdown. That's all the books that I read this year, or last year, and I'm really excited for all the books I'm going to read in 2023. I already have like all of these books that I'm like, oh, I want to read this one, I want to read this one, I want to reread this one, you know? So I'm really excited for this channel. I'm excited to just be able to like talk about books instead of just like typing them out, because I feel like it's easier to say the words than it is to like figure out how to put the words on to like a text, you know? So I'm really excited, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff. Comment some video ideas if you like stuff that you guys want to see. I already have a list of ones that like I feel like could work, but if there's like specific ones that you guys really like to watch, like let me know and I'll probably do them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye!